And we're back with spontaneous speaking video number 11. So, I know that especially us iPhone users, or probably only us iPhone users, know three types of people. A, the people who leave their read receipts off, and sometimes you never even know if they ever read your message or they ever received it. Some of them even like to claim they never received it to begin with. It's like, you lying, because they just never responded or they never interacted or whatever type of way. You just never know. Two, the people who actually leave their read receipts on and they'll have a conversation with you, and then when the conversation's dying down or has come to an end, then they kind of just never open your message again until the next time they're about to hit you up, or the next time that I guess you respond to them again, and that's like sparking the conversation once up. And three, people who get mad at you when you do leave them on read, for those of us who are actually bold enough to have our read receipts on. I'm gonna address all three. I always found it incredibly annoying, those people who have their read receipts off and you text them something and they just choose not to text back. Maybe they forgot to text back. They're claiming they never got your message to begin with. That's just all incredibly annoying to me. But I never really understood why they would do that, especially if it's like something like a really urgent message of some sort. And maybe they're trying to protect themselves from, they know they're a forgetful person, but why not have your read receipts on? That way people can remind you, like, hey, you read my message, you just haven't got back to it. It's like, oh, okay, they can hold you accountable for that. But I don't know. That's just something that had come to mind and I was just wondering about. But yeah, we know people like that, and if you're somebody like that, I would actually like to know reasons as to why you probably do that. This is more for that. For A, I'm not one of those people, but it's more of me trying to understand y'all. Now for group B, those of you who leave your read receipts on, great, you're bold. But then when the conversation's naturally beginning to slow down, or basically the conversation is ended, you just choose not to leave that person on read. Why exactly? I mean, if the conversation is ended, then, me personally, I don't really like seeing that unread notification on my phone. Some of you probably even turn your receipts off just to leave it like that. But it shouldn't be a big deal. If you guys both agree that the conversation is ended at this point, then why not just leave the person on read, until next time. So to me, that's even welcoming me to hit you up again later on. Sometimes there's even breaks in conversation, where you can leave the person on read because they didn't really have anything to say, and that's inviting the opposite person to say something else to re-spark the conversation, or just to leave it alone. Sometimes conversation just naturally has to breathe, and I feel like that's not something that people should really get in their feelings about. If you get left on read, then you should know that either you left them with you left the opposite party with nothing to say or little to say, or they believe the conversation is over, but you're still welcome to write them again. So I feel like, and I guess that's even going into group C, those of you who actually get mad when you're left on read, relax. It's probably why we have group A to begin with, because I feel like if we are talking, we are texting, and you respond something like or we agree to do something, whatever. It's like, okay, cool. Well, and you just leave me with the dry response. Basically, I'm gonna open your message. I'm gonna leave you on read to indicate, like, okay, well, I've seen your message. I have nothing really to say. It's kind of like, I like what not Facebook, but it is something that came from Facebook first. But the new the new iOS update, what it's doing right now, how you can like people's messages and love them or whatever. Now it's kind of like the same thing. Like, even if you don't have your read receipts on, you can like the last message to indicate that, okay, I've notifying you that I've liked your last message. I just don't have anything to say, and that is natural. There's no reason to get upset when somebody has nothing to say back to you, especially if you have not given them something more to say. I feel like the one thing that I hate about communication is forced communication. If you don't have anything to say and I don't have anything to say, then let's not say anything. It's okay. There's no problem with you leaving me on red, and there shouldn't be a problem with me leaving you on red, as long as there was a mutual understanding, like, yeah, this is kind of where the conversation like took a dip, and eventually it's gonna come back up, but there should not be any like hard feelings behind that of any sort. And so that was just a short thing that had crossed my mind, and I just thought that I wanted to address. Once again, I'm just trying to start discussion or conversation with that, because it's something that I've been realizing, and I just really wanted to address it. And hopefully people who I text are watching that, because it's just, I just don't understand. Like, and another feature that I really like with the new iOS is now you can individualize your read receipts. I don't know how many of you know that, but yeah, you can do that now. And so I thought that there was only going to be one person that I would have to turn my read receipts off for, because they unfortunately fall under Group C. But turns out there are a lot of other people who fall under Group C, and there's even people who are just dry, and I don't feel like texting them. So maybe I do fall under Group A once in a while, and just pretend like, I mean, I won't lie to them and say I never received their message. I just won't respond to the message even when they ask if I received the message. Dang, that's bad. But they're probably not watching. Anyway, yeah, I love how you can turn your read receipts off now for certain people, but if we all came to an understanding that conversations do in fact have dry moments, and it's okay to be left on red, it's okay to leave other people on red, and it's okay if you guys don't have anything to say. If we all came to those agreements, then we wouldn't have to worry about certain things. Now, like I said, this is just something that I was just bringing up. I'm not like pressed on the issue or anything. I just thought that it was something that was worth talking about. These are spontaneous speaking videos. It comes to my mind, I want to speak on it. I don't really plan it. I just go ahead and speak, and let's start a discussion on that. Let me know which group you may fall under and what your thoughts are on that. Help each other understand, and maybe one day, who knows, we'll reach social harmony. But the second thing and the last thing that I wanted to talk about in this video is long paragraph text versus small talk. If there's one thing that I cannot stand in textual conversation, is it's basically going back to the first topic of dry conversation. What are you doing? Okay, cool. Oh yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I'm just chilling in my room. Oh, nice. I can't stand conversation like that. I really can't. But then I guess for me, I'm also like, there's people who are in the middle. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those people who's in the middle. I tend to be the other extreme, where I send long paragraph text messages, and a lot of you who talk to me, you'll probably, that are watching this, y'all are probably laughing right now. But I have come to realize over the years that not everybody appreciates a long paragraph text message, and that's totally fine with me. Like, honestly, that's understandable. Who has time to read a long paragraph all the time anyway? And a lot of you are, just kind of really stagnant and happy with your dry conversation, your limited conversation, and that is fine. But I think one thing that I've been realizing is, for those of you who make fun of people, because I'm not the only person who sends long paragraph text messages. I know other people who do it. I know people who've started it, and they actually enjoy my long paragraph text messages, because we actually talking about something with substance, I feel like I would much rather prefer a conversation to be flowing naturally and quickly and rapidly and boom, 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 as opposed to it's boring. I'm not gonna respond to you anymore. I'm eventually gonna do what I said in the highway of conversation video and just be like, all right, well, give you a highway to exit. And if not, if you just keep on driving a certain time, I'm gonna take a highway and exit. Some people even just make up excuses. Oh, I'm sorry, my house is kind of burning down right now. I'll text you later. Or, oh, hold on, let me go turn off my light real quick. I'll text you later. Or, and don't ever text you again. It's boring. But like I said, I can understand why a lot of people also wouldn't appreciate long paragraph text messages. And I would say that I've come to a point now where I only have those long paragraph text messages with people who I know would appreciate it. And it's not something that, like I intentionally just say, oh, I'm going to start a long paragraph. It just naturally falls into it. And usually if that happens with the person, it's because me and that person just vibe that well. And I believe that they appreciate it. And if they tell me otherwise, then I'll definitely limit my conversation with them. But if I see it as a gift, if I'm planning on actually speaking with you past surface level conversation, past small talk, then that means that I actually see you as someone who is worth hearing my ideas and how my day actually went. I mean, you have to understand, I actually took the time and the battery power to write out that long paragraph. So if I'm doing that, then that means that you're worth my time. Opposite, I can't think of the word right now, people who just have a quick moment to type to you whatever, is almost as if, oh, well, you're not really worth the time or battery power or whatever I'm doing to actually type out a well-written response. Now, like I said, there's people in the middle, and sometimes I can fluctuate between that middle place. I don't mean that I have to have long paragraph text messages all the time. That's not necessary. But if we're gonna have casual conversation, I'd prefer that we could probably start off with small talk and then goes into something deeper and eventually goes into long paragraphs. And then after those topics have exhausted out, then we go back to small talk. And we don't have to force the conversation, but if it just naturally flows in that direction, then cool, But I feel like we should not force small talk. I mean, we should not force conversation, period. That's essentially it. So, yeah, just another spontaneous speaking video on texting with long paragraphs. Basically just texting in general and how communication works. What I think about communication, because it's something that I've been really paying attention to a lot, not just because I'm a communications major and we talk about a lot of these theories and such in class, but as I have more communication with more people, then I'm realizing all the different nuances and the different social cues that a lot of people seem to not really catch on to. And I just wanted to bring those things to surface and see what people actually think about them, get into their minds, have some ideas spiraled around. I don't really have all the answers to everything or anything, but all I can do is just throw out my questions, what I've observed, and you guys can analyze. I can analyze along with you. We can talk about it, whether it's today if you're watching or 5 years from now when I'm actually famous or whatever and people actually care about these videos. So yeah, drop comments, let me know what you think. Tell me what group you probably fall in. If there's a group that I don't really even have, yeah, sure, I'm open up for discussion, and talk to your friends about it. Share the video with them, sit down and talk about it. I don't know, whatever it is, let's just start a discussion on it and let's try and reach social consensus. Done.